We are streaming.
Good?
Everything's good, it's clear hot, sounds on.
Does somebody want my computer so you can have the way it's supposed to be?
I'll wait to unwrap the present.
Right. Good answer.
Feel like this kicks me to a whole nother level.
Two things that I've added that we talked about are the screws prices that we just got on the building, and
No brainer.
we'll talk about the transfer site.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, no brainers, right?
Badges?
Yeah, ID badges.
Be nice if this weather holds up, if they could get it in, huh? I like the fact you can touch these screens too, you know?
I bet. I'm surprised you don't have a stylist.
Bigger works pretty
Does
good
it?
for now. You got one of those little, you got one of those little tips on your finger, do you, those little rubber
Yeah, I'm
things
about to show it.
that they used to sew with?
Yes. Thimble? I think that's what you're looking for.
Gonna be in your ear. How you doing, Tom?
He's good, he's ready to do the pledge.
Please stand for the pledge. Welcome to the town board meeting. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
all the meeting to order. As checking bills, you'll see that there's, we all went through a bunch of them. I need a motion to approve the ones that are here. There'll be more later on in the month.
I'll make the motion to pay all of the bills except for the Fleet Pride that we are not certain what department it goes to.
I'll second.
First and a second, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, none. Next is a motion to approve the town board meeting minutes. We have two different ones, 9/26 and 10/16. Motion by Dean,
I'll second.
second by Tim. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none. At this point in time, we'll open up the public hearing, the budget hearing for presentation of the preliminary 2025 Alexandria town budget for all funds, water and sewer districts, with rates and fees. And I think Sandy's provided us a document here. Hopefully everybody has one of the water and sewer. Our thoughts are on the budget. By law, we have to adopt it by the 20th of the month. By law, we have to have this public hearing. We have to at least open it within 2 days of election day. So that's why we're here tonight. And we're looking for some stuff from the county. We don't feel confident in everything we have, or that we do have everything. So we'd like to wait until the 20th and adjourn our meeting to the 20th, and then adopt the budget then. Is everybody okay with that? And actually, Sandy, we talked about this. We should do it sooner than the 20th, because we didn't want to wait till that last day.
Yes, the 20th is the last day that we have to approve it, so it'd be nice if we got it done a little bit before that.
Does anybody have availability the week before, at the end of the week? What's that for dates?
I don't get back until the 16th.
13th, 14th, 15th. Be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of the week previous.
And we have a school board meeting on the 19th, so.
Yeah, you got a school board meeting in there someplace.
19th.
That's on the 19th. We could do a meeting on the 18th. We could do a meeting the week before. What's everybody's schedule look like? You wanna do it on the 18th?
18th.
18th's fine with me.
Okay. So we'll schedule it, at the end of this meeting, we'll adjourn it till the 18th at 6 o'clock, okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Sandy, do you wanna talk about the water papers here, water and sewer?
I can. Your front page, you have a summary, basically what went on the taxes, for the water and sewer. Quarterly, the way the budget is written right now, the quarterly amounts that come up, and then what it'll be yearly, and then the fourth column is the total cost for a normal single-family home, and then what it was in 2024 and the difference, whether there's an increase or decrease. Redwood is your standard for the way most things are, everything, there's a gradual increase. Otter Street, they've got a decrease this year. What's helping them a lot is Route 12. Route 12, you've got a couple properties there, commercial properties that had huge increases in water usage, which made their EDU and capital rates go up. As their EDU rates go up, they pay more into the Otter Street as part of their wheeling charge, which makes what the Otter Street people are responsible for to come down. So they actually seen a $14.75 decrease. Route 12 water, again, because there's more EDUs, they're actually seeing a decrease of $44.70. Route 12 sewer, Brent and I went to the joint sewer meeting over in Lafargeville, they have not had a rate increase since they started in 2017. So it's been $610 per year for 7 years now. They did approve an increase of $15 a year. Their theory in the past was they didn't fluctuate things. As new businesses came in and EDUs went up, that great gain and increase was enough to keep, you know, your cost of increases and everything. But they said this year, you know, it's time for an increase, and it was approved. So some of the people in the Route 12 water will see a slight increase there. Carnegie Bay, we said no change this year. Edgewood. When I looked at that, I was like, ooh, that's a huge increase. I don't think we want that. I gave you a summary sheet for each one. My recommendations for Otter Street,
Edgewood.
Which is the last sheet, instead of having a source of supply of 5,000, which is not enough, I know we went over that this year, I would recommend a 4% increase in their O&M, so that would be $50 a quarter increase to $5,200 a year. Right now, they're currently paying $1,250, so I'd say raise that to $1,300. But to keep our budget number the same for expenditures, increase the source of supply to 6634. That way your total number remains the same, but they do use more than 5,000 in source of supply a year. And so I think it's justified to go that way. You can see at the very bottom, up until January of 2022, they paid nothing extra. They only paid for their usage because in that district, they are responsible for everything. So the justification always was, why are we charging them anything if they're responsible for their whole district, all their infrastructure from the master meter on, it's them. Well, the reason we started charging was because somewhere along the line, we ended up with a large negative fund balance. So we've been chipping away at that. For the first year, we started charging them $4.59 a quarter. Then for a couple quarters, we went to $8.64. And then in December of last year, we went to $12.50. When we went up to $12.50, that got their attention and they started screaming at me. And they're not happy. So I don't think we should increase it to that, what the budget, the way it would work out right now to 1708. I think, no.
I agree with the 4%.
That's way too much.
I agree with the 4%. We talked about it. That'll make it 1 to 1.5 years before we get caught up.
You can see from September of last year, they were in the red, 12,363. As of September 30th of this year, they're down to 8,000. We are making headway in the right direction. It's just, do we want to get shocked? I don't like those nasty phone calls. Not nasty, but very unhappy.
So we don't necessarily have to approve this or do this till we adopt the budget and we put this into the budget. Does that
Yep.
make sense?
Yep, you can think about it for a little bit if you want. The only other one that I would, just food for thought, and I don't care any which way, Carnegie Bay is another district that over the years, they have seen large increases, if you look percentage-wise. And that's, again, because they had a negative balance, and we were trying to regain that. If you look in the Dank book, Dank recommends that we save $4,500 a year for parts and repair and that sort of thing. It's such a small district, there really isn't a lot of overhead. I mean, if there's a bad meter or something, the customer gets charged for that. So they don't have a lot. So if we wanted to reduce that operation and maintenance a little bit, so that their bill would come down a little bit, they're still one of the cheapest districts. But I know there are a couple of them in the district that are vocal about they shouldn't be having to pay anything because the village contaminated their water and so on and so forth. But you've got all the history numbers there, you see where it started, where it's gone.
I was gonna say, we've increased that like 3 times, haven't we,
Oh, yeah.
in the last few years?
I don't think it's unreasonable to leave it the same. We are no longer in the negative. Now we're starting to make a little bit of headway. The other thing, though, why I would lean towards, I'm being the devil's advocate for both sides. My other reason for leaving it alone is reading the newspaper. The village is getting ready to undergo major water changes. And I know that while they're doing this, they are going to be calibrating and looking at all the master meters. And if the master meters are too old, they're going to insist that they be replaced. So that master meter right there is 1 year's worth of stuff at least. You're talking 5,000 or more. So,
Just leave it.
Leave it for now.
let us get some reserve built up, and then,
I mean, that's a suggestion, or the recommendation, I should say anyways,
yeah.
so.
Yeah, and like I say, I can fight either side. I know they'd love to see it go down. If you go strictly by Dank, it's logical that we go down a little bit. But the reality is the price of everything is going up. The Dank survey was done 5 years ago. The cost of everything has gone up.
Okay.
Was that where the delta came for both districts, Edgewood and, well, I can understand the Carnegie Bay one, but where was the delta of the original 12,363, what did that come from? Was that a significant repair?
What do you mean, Delta? I don't know what you're referring to.
That previous
Right,
negative,
the negative gallons.
that was as high as 18 or 22.
Oh.
From
What
what?
And we dug,
We dug and we couldn't find it. This goes back to like 2012, 2013. We could not figure out what it's from. This is what I surmise, but I cannot find the paperwork. And honestly, that is what stopped Mr. Ridley. I don't want to say that's what stopped. Maybe he just got sidetracked and forgot about me. But in our conversation when he was upset about the increase, I said to him, because I explained to him about the negative balance, and I said, it doesn't make sense where it came from. Who was the person that owned Edgewood before him?
Marola.
When Marola had it, Marola was supposed to pay for everything to include the master meter. We're thinking, or I'm thinking, Marola never paid for that master meter. And the town ended up paying that charge. And it was hanging out there because they thought he did. And he was like, well, I thought when I bought this place, they said it was all paid for. And I said, can you find me that receipt? And he never came up with a receipt. I don't know that that's what it is. I'm just guessing because we have
Going
looked
back to
and-
Sampy's days,
Yeah.
the only one that could actually give you a little bit of history on it would be probably Jamie Papin.
and he didn't know. I mean, we've searched him, and we have looked. That's why I did.
Jamie Papin.
Jamie Papin,
Yeah, you're going back to Sandy days,
yep.
you really are.
And you're going back to Marola days when he
Yep.
was not paying bills. And so we're thinking that's one of them that he didn't pay, it got charged back to the town ended up paying it, and it just kinda sat there.
Oh, it's our baby
That
now.
wouldn't surprise me at all.
Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, we've run into these situations that are somewhat similar when people buy property, and it's their responsibility to do a search on the water and sewer, any special district billing. And we've had a couple of them here that they didn't, and they came here and they had a past bill that they'd never seen. Well, their lawyer didn't do the work, and we can't, it is what it is. It is the way we handle it. Okay? So everybody good there with the water and sewer and the public hearing, and we'll keep this public hearing open, I believe, right? Yep. Okay, move on to the agenda. Any public concerns? Doesn't look like it, okay? I don't have any correspondence. Going to the reports, Bolton Ave Rec Center, I think everybody's been seeing what we're doing there, what's going on. Obviously, the good news is last night's vote to do the project and to help fund the project. So we'll go from there. That gives us a go-ahead to start doing more work on this and see where we come in with the DRI and New York Forward. Engineer report, Rob is out of town. I have talked to him a couple times. He didn't have anything to report. Assessor report, that stuff is on the website. Highway, Zach.
We put shoulders on the streets in Redwood and School Street, so we're officially done with all our road work for the year. You guys put out their delineators for the winter to mark the roads. We've been tearing down trucks and fixing and adjusting anything we need before winter and putting plow equipment and sanders on. It's pretty upsetting when you're putting a sander on a truck at 75 degrees. But, I had the broom tractor out today sweeping some of our surface treated roads, started getting equipment organized and put away. It's been nice, so we left the dozer at the brush pit for another couple weeks. And we'll be pulling flags and banners next week after Veterans Day. So other than that, just getting ready for winter. Mike Hoover finished up all his work today. All the air handlers and heaters are online. The guts for the main new breaker box is at least 2 weeks out, so waiting for cars to finish up all that stuff. Hopefully by the...
Is all that new equipment running?
Yep.
Yep. You notice a difference?
Yep.
What kind of difference? It just feel the air?
Yeah, you can notice everything. It's all a lot of different noises that you're not used to. And then, he fired the heater in the office yesterday, and it was like a sauna in there. No.
Cool. Okay, thanks, Zach. Moving on here, the zoning, water, and sewer are all on the website. Sandy, do you have a clerk report?
Yeah, it is first of the month. All of my reports are done. They've been submitted to the state, and there was no marriages this year. And in the last month, I don't even think we had any deaths. It was a very, very quiet month. So we're starting this
Good for you.
month with a few already.
Yeah,
so.
that's definitely good. Okay, moving on to old business. Morgan and the grants, we've been talking with her back and forth. We have a tentative date set for that meeting, the public meeting of when?
Was it December 4th? That's what I'm tracking.
Yep. So for December 4th, we hope to have a public meeting. We're planning that for 6 o'clock here at the town office. And she's working, she's got an advertisement and some public releases or notice release, for the meeting. Anybody have anything else on that?
Nope.
Citizen complaint, I talked to, Andy Silver. He's gonna write a letter in response to the citizen complaint to the person who did the complaint. The dog law, ad amendment for enforcement, everybody sees here. We've already done this as far as we did everything except for that actually adopted this. This is an amendment for the enforcement of the dog law in relation to howling and barking and everything that we've talked about for 2 or 3 months.
Really gonna get into that?
Yeah.
who's gonna enforce it? Somebody calls, and who do they call?
An appearance ticket may be issued by the town code enforcement officer or other individual or entity appointed by the town council in the local justice court, and upon the determination of a violation of this dog licensing and control law, a fine shall be ordered and levied against the owner payable to the town of Alexandria. Any such fine shall be paid in full within 30 days of the order. In addition to the above provided penalties, the town may also maintain an action in the name of the town in any court of competent jurisdiction to compel compliance with or to restrain by injunction any violation of this local law. So, our town code enforcement officer, or we can appoint.
Do we need to make another motion on this?
Yeah, I think we do.
I think Sandy's, well,
Yeah, Sandy, roll.
well, we can make a motion up here
You
and
guys
then
have to
she's,
motion it, and someone has to motion it and second it, and then the roll
I'll
call.
make a motion.
Motion by Tim, second by Sean. Any discussion? Roll call?
Yep.
Supervisor Sweet,
Yes.
Councilman Hyman,
Yes.
Councilman Thomas,
yes.
Councilman Davidson,
Yes.
Councilman Crane.
No.
I love it when somebody says no.
Okay.
Diversity of thought is good.
I agree.
Okay, that's Board Assessment Review, I don't have any news on that, I don't have any, I'm sorry.
Because I see it being a big mess for the town, people calling in on neighbors being vindictive without cause. And I don't think we should be policing people's barking dogs. Especially in multifamily homes, you can't expect it to be the piece of a single family home out in the country. That's a problem for neighbors to handle amongst neighbors, in my opinion.
Okay.
Well put, Gene.
Yeah, definitely, that's a good point.
I don't agree with it, but it's a good point.
Don't have to agree with it.
Don't hit them. Okay, so we don't, anybody has any names for this Board of Assessment Review? We have no applications or names, so. And the county's looking, right?
They are, I've got my notice, I've gotta turn everything in, and
Budget transfer.
right now we only have 2 people.
Where's that pink sheet?
I'll get it for you, buddy. You want the purple one or the pink one?
Probably both.
Either or.
I'll take one of each.
Well, they're only purple, so you can have both those.
Okay, budget transfers.
Holy moly.
Okay, this is General A. We're gonna debit engineer CE $6,000. We're going to debit superintendent of highway CE $500. We're gonna debit garage personal services $5,000. We're gonna debit garage equipment $4,100. To cover expense grant writing was the first one, to cover expenses conference, to cover extra time spent working on highway barn, to cover extra expenses updating highway barn. Cover expenses getting arena ready for winter, and M. Spencer grant writing. That's the arena rec CE, $10,000 debit. Historical property A Bay, $500 debit. Historical property Redwood, a $500 debit. Refuse garbage CE, $6,000. To cover ARPA going to this organization in 24, to cover increased costs and trash removal, and that was the other one was to cover ARPA dollars going to this organization. Next one is General B, Safety Inspections CE, we're going to debit $300. Safety Inspections PS, we're going to credit $300. Highway DA, Machinery Equipment, we're going to debit $20,000. We're going to debit Brush Weeds Personal Services $2,305 to cover brush and weeds. The one before that was to cover cost of a pickup truck. Service to other governments, personal services, we're crediting $9,200. Social Security, we're crediting at $1,305. Unemployment insurance, we're crediting $1,800. And installment purchase, we're crediting $10,000. Highway DB, general repairs PS, are debiting $20,000. Permanent improvements CE, we're debiting $9,150. To cover extra costs and permanent improvements, to cover extra costs in general road repairs was the $20,000. permanent improvements PS, we're crediting $29,150 as the last one. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Dale,
I'll second.
second by Tim. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None. October financials, I think you've all been sent them electronically. Oh, I'm sorry, not the financials, I mean, were sent the budget electronically. These financials will be out at the next meeting, okay? Next item, number 3, is the floating dock at the highway barn. We wanna declare that surplus so we can sell it. So I'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Gene.
I'll second.
Second by Tim. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none. The next was the old ice machine at the transfer site,
This the oldest one?
the oldest one.
Okay.
There's no parts on it we can use for anything we've got.
She's been robbed pretty good, I know that.
Been robbed pretty good.
Yeah, we've robbed stuff out of it first.
Alright, send it.
Yep. So I need a motion to declare that surplus.
I'll make motion.
Motion by Sean,
Second.
second by Dale. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none.
There's do you wanna declare that old tractor surplus too? The 6610 with the offset mower that goes up at the stables, it's parked behind the pole barn right now. At the town barn, there's nothing we're gonna use.
Yeah, we haven't decided what we're doing with that or where that's going. You have no use for it.
I have no use for it, no.
No. Do we wanna declare that surplus tonight and sell it, or do we wanna think about it?
What are we gonna do with it? We're not gonna mow the stables ever again.
No.
I'd say it's surplus. I'd say it's surplus and get the money back to do something else with it.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Sean, second by Tim. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none.
Ford 6610.
Okay, so that's 3 items.
Alright.
Sandy, you got any, this Venmo deal?
So when I was sitting in on my last, tax collectors webinar, which they do every month, they got talking about Venmo and different forms of credit cards and can it be accepted and not, and the state lawyer said that from what she was gathering from everybody, Venmo was an acceptable form of, payment, and I was like, sweet. So, and I haven't had time this week to look it up. Basically, if you guys are okay with it, I'd like to do the research to see if a municipality, make sure there's not gonna be any charges or anything else. But I know I have Venmo for my renters, and they just send me the money, and my Venmo is set up, and that's the way I would set up for the town, that you get an email notification, just like I do with the credit cards, and I can't send it anywhere else, it just has to go into our tax checking account, which is basically just like a credit card payment. You just transfer it over and it's done. But there's, at least on my civilian end, there's 0 charges. And I don't think there's any charges for anybody who's using it to send it either. I don't know, I've never sent it, I've just received.
So did they talk about, in that conversation, is that on a mobile device?
It can be, yeah.
Or is it URL based too? When I mean URL based, I just mean regular website.
Mine comes in on my phone, and I do it on my website
I mean,
at home.
it's an app,
It's-
right,
yeah.
so,
So you can have an app on your phone, or you can do it, cause I transfer it using my computer at home.
okay. Alright.
School's got it too. They use it.
Who's got Venmo?
Yep.
Really, they did do it with their credit cards for their taxes?
I believe, well, they have it. I don't know if they're using it across the board, but Tracy would know. You can ask her.
So the way mine works is there's no charge unless you want the money within 1 or 2 days.
Within
If you
days,
save
yeah.
the money in 3 or 4 days, there's no charge.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's the way we should go. I'll make the motion for Sandy to investigate it.
Second by Sean, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next, bank agreement, I've sent it to Andy, and I haven't, heard back from him. I sent him a message today, and he hadn't looked at it, so, but he's going to. That's where we are there. Let's look at these screw prices that we have here for the building. I believe it's a no-brainer. Anybody wanna make a motion?
I make a motion to go with Felder's,
Tim made
the
motion.
lowest bid.
Second, by Gene. Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, none. The last thing I want to talk about, last thing we're gonna talk about in a minute is the transfer site, and we're talking a little bit about, I've had some people approach me about possibly closing it on Mondays during the winter only. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
What are you gonna do with Donald?
Work them at the rink or someplace else.
Or somewhere in
And I think-
DPW.
Or the DPW, and I think it could be used at the rink.
Yeah.
You know the schedule, and we're getting busier there.
Yeah.
And Corey's got a limited deal,
Yeah. At one time, we had a sheet here,
had all the revenue.
probably gave it to Gene and I when we first got here, of daily
Yes,
counts,
I
right?
got that on my computer.
Yep.
Well, we don't have to make this decision
Just be
tonight.
beneficial probably
It'd be
for,
beneficial for
That's-
these guys to see that.
that's been the historical
Yep, absolutely.
trend, but
Yeah, you can put it on the folder too.
Yep. Okay.
but I'm open to that.
I
Yeah,
think it's a good idea.
yeah,
I don't even think I'd be opposed to doing it during the summer.
I've seen where the numbers are going right now, and it's just on one of these deals, you know? So, the only other thing I have is to do an adjournment. Does anybody have anything else? Do we have the executive session? Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting to November 18th at 6 p.m.
To continue the public hearing for the budget, okay? We got, have that motion, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none. What time is that? Oh, man.
6:30.
Come on.
Record breaker.
No, you mean.
Jesus, Martha.
I gotta go home and get my,
Chief, rip them off that quick?
I have
I gotta go